Javier Blog 208 coming to you live at the midnight hour from a beautiful kitchen. Nah, it's just my kitchen. I'm just kind of here to see who's gonna join me tonight. I don't even know. I'm just doing a live stream and I wanted to talk about anything, answer any questions, give you guys my thoughts on life, thoughts on the world, thoughts on just humanity and all that. And just talk about whatever the hell is on my mind and whatever the hell is on my. So what am I doing right now? I got back from a beautiful place called Trader Joe's. I got my favorite limeade. I love limeade. This is so good. It's all natural. Look at that. Filtered water, granulated sugar, lime juice, lemon juice. That's it. I got my favorite vegan kale pesto. Okay. Very good, very good ingredients: kale, olive oil blend, olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, water, basil, cashew butter, dry cashews, roasted cashews, safflower oil, garlic, lemon juice, sea salt, pepper. Not a bad deal. I got my carrot juice, good for eyesight, and nothing but pure organic carrot juice. And kettle corn, natural kettle corn with popcorn, sunflower oil, sugar, and salt. And I always get my fruit snack, which is made of 100% pure fruit. Great. So, what's up, guys? How's everybody doing? I'm waiting for my cards to come in, my ID to come in. I'm waiting just for kind of everything to just kind of get sorted out in my life, like starting tomorrow, I'm just going to be working on, like, hopefully that my signed bank letter is going to get approved so I can get my business back going again. But we will see what happens. We will see what happens. So what's up, guys? How's everybody doing? If anybody has any questions, please put them down below. If there's anybody that wants to ask me anything, I don't know who's watching. I don't know how many people are watching. This is a very inactive channel right now. I'm really just aiming to, like, increase my subscribers list by, like, giving you guys travel videos or videos about my blog or videos about my life or videos about just anything I want to talk about, whether it's religion, Christianity, politics, whatever. It's just, this is a completely open blog channel, and that's why I called it Javier Blog 208. The 208 part's very random. I don't know where that came from, but that is what I made it. So Javier's Blog 208, enjoying my tea mints, enjoying my fresh lemonade, enjoying my carrot juice, and my kale pesto. And I know I'm boring you guys. But yeah, I am an open book, guys. I'm an open book, and I want to just answer questions for everybody. Answer questions. What are your thoughts? What do you want to ask me? At the end of the day. We went through a crazy month and a crazy year. I was in New Zealand. I was in Australia. I was in Utah. I was traveling all over the country, cashed out my assets for my business, managed to spend a ton of money this year just traveling and just trying to clear my mind. And right now living in a place, in the tropics, and it's good. Life is pretty decent, just trying to get things back together, like we all are dealing with things emotionally, whatever it is in your life. At the end of the day, you're dealing with something. We're all dealing with something that is just like locked in our head that we just don't want to talk about. At the end of the day, it's just like, there's things I'm dealing with I don't want to talk about. There's things you're dealing with that you don't want to talk about. And at the end of the day, we're just all fighting a battle. What kind of battle do you want to call it? Do you want to call it a spiritual battle, a mental battle, an emotional battle, a physical battle, a battle of the mind? Whatever it is you guys want to call it, at the end of the day, we are all dealing with something. We're all dealing with something. And honestly, just trying to, we're all trying to build our lives up. We're all trying to make our lives better. We're all trying to improve our lives. At the end of the day, however you may find that, however you may figure that out, at the end of the day, we're all trying to build our lives up and just build self-improvement. And we all got things going on in our lives. What about me? At the end of the day, I am a freaking loner. Like at the end of the day, sometimes I wonder if I was even meant to have friends. I'm not even kidding about that. I mean, I know a lot of people, got a lot of acquaintances, at the end of the day. I meet people when I'm out. I'm extremely outgoing. I like to go, I like nightlife and other things. I like going to restaurants. I like going out to just like do different things and exploring and seeing new things and meeting new people. And I develop connections and contacts. Like everywhere that I go, I develop, all kinds of contacts and connections. But at the end of the day, it's hard to like hold on to those connections, like, like develop like friendships with them and all that. Like you're gonna keep in contact with plenty of people, sure, but at the end of the day, when you want to like develop like lasting friendships or lasting connections, it is a tough thing to do. It really is. And I know that many of us probably struggle with that at the end of the day. I know for a hell yeah, in fact, I struggle with it. But many of us probably do. Maybe some of you do too. I don't know. But anyway, getting on to the next thing, it's like, so what is something new that kind of came into my life like recently? I got sick. It was probably COVID. It was probably COVID. I don't even know. I never got tested, but I sure as hell had the symptoms for it. You should have seen me when I was traveling like this on the ground at 1 in the morning in the Charlotte International Airport in North Carolina, begging people for a blanket or a jacket because my fever was so high. I was shivering on a concrete bench in Charlotte, North Carolina at the airport, waiting for my morning flight to go up to Boston to see my family for Thanksgiving. Yeah, that was the story of the last year. Also, going to see the movie Wicked, at the end of the day. It's just like at the end of the day, going to see the movie Wicked, I gave my thoughts on it. I made a video, but the sound got muted out. Don't ask me why the sound got muted out. I don't know why the sound got muted out, but I gave my thoughts on it. How it's like coming from like the Christian faith, I oppose all that witchcraft and sorcery stuff. But at the same time, I recognize the beauty of the movie. Whereas, like at the end of the day, we have now empathy. We now are able to understand the things that wicked witch, that so-called wicked witch, a Wizard of Oz, went through. She was bullied growing up because she was different. She was mistreated. She just wanted to blend in. And how many of us are dealing with that life? How many of us have that story in our lives at the end of the day? How many of us tried to just wanted to fit in childhood when people are just forming their cliques and their gangs and their whatever, and they're just leaving like there's always going to be an outcast. I know for damn sure I was an outcast growing up, both in grade school and in high school, especially in grade school, but also in high school. I am so glad those days are over. But anyway, it's just like you felt bad for that poor, whatever her name was, that green witch. She just grew up. She was just an innocent girl growing up, trying to fit in. And then the prideful queen, the whatever, the so-called good witch. And as Jen Misa says, there are no good witches. She's kind of right, but that's another topic. Yeah, so the prideful so-called good witch was just like, oh, I'm just trying to be nice to her, at the end of the day. And then they pretend, they develop a friendship together, but then they eventually sadly part ways because they had conflict over a wizard or whatever. I don't even understand what happened, but eventually they became like she became the wicked witch and the other one became the so-called good witch. Neither of them were good in my opinion, but I think we have more empathy now for the green one. You know, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, all sorcery and witchcraft, all that stuff is bad. It's just against, it's wicked, it's demonic stuff. And that's the sad part of the movie, but the beautiful part of the movie is we understand what they went through growing up. And it's a story that like resonates with so many of us in our lives, like people who are outcasts growing up and stuff. But anyway, yeah, it's been a really crazy year, guys. It really has. I've done a lot this year. I opened this year up by going to Tennessee to testify. Well, I left my initial job that I was working at, that supermarket, but thank God that ended. That was like, at the end of the day, they didn't fire me. They set me free, and I was grateful for that. because I got my life together and I found success. And at the end of the day, I found self-employment, remote income through business and through a lot of things. And I found success, and I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful to God for that. Now that has always been on and off, on and off, on and off, but still I digress. At the end of the day, so January, I went to a court in Tennessee to testify for a person I really, really cared about. You probably know who you are. I doubt you're watching this, but you probably know who you are. Then I went to, and this was after I got back from Mexico in December. I went to Chile in February for the first time to see the family of my grandmother, and I met them for the first time in my life, and it was a beautiful experience because I went with my grandmother, I went with my mom, and I met my family out there that I never ever saw in my life. My grandmother's sister and my cousins, uncles, aunts, all that. We even flew to Temuco to go to the farm where my grandmother grew up, and it was just a beautiful experience. And then from there, I went to New Zealand and I spent a month in New Zealand, and that was awesome too because I really needed a time to just get to know new cultures, new people, new experiences, understand people and whatever. At the end of the day, the people in New Zealand, they're just like, they're very laid back, very kind. They're very nice people. Amazing food there. Amazing food there. I ate food from like 7 different countries in a week. Turkish food, Japanese food, Chinese food, Italian food, Mexican food, you name it. It was all there. The Mexican food in New Zealand sucked. I'm not going to lie. You're not going to get good Mexican food unless you're on the border or unless you're in Mexico itself. Trust me, that's the good Mexican food. But at the end of the day, in New Zealand, like the South, that's the warm. The South is the coldest part of the country. The North is the warmest part of the country. We're talking a 30-degree difference. It was in the 40s and 50s when I was in the southernmost part of the North Island, called Wellington, New Zealand, and we're talking Fahrenheit because they all use Celsius there, but I don't know anything about Celsius. Anything about Celsius. And then in the northernmost part of New Zealand, which I went to a couple days later, it was like in the 80s there. It was just like, wow, what a massive temperature difference at the exact same time. And everybody drove on the left side of the car. No, they all drove on the right side of the car. I'm sorry. The outlets were different there. There were smoothie places everywhere. There were sushi places everywhere. On every corner, there was like a sushi place. And they had like the best sushi. Like outside of Japan, you will find the best sushi in New Zealand. And the people there were so laid back. It's just like, wow, they did really, really, they were so carefree there. And it was a beautiful, beautiful thing. So that's the story of my January, February, and March. I flew back at the end of March, spent time in Illinois with a friend of mine, and then went over to Las Vegas. And from Las Vegas, I stayed at a fancy resort, which I got really lucky getting that. I got a fancy resort for 3 nights in Las Vegas. Then from there on, I went to live in Utah. I found myself in Utah at the end of the day. And it's just like, and I just got to meet new people there, really connect with an old community, and just kind of get back to like going to church and getting closer to God. And it's the Mormon church, but at the same time, I needed to find, what's the word? I needed to get closer to God some way, closer to Jesus Christ some way. And honestly, I think that's the way that God led me to do it. So I took Institute classes. I learned about the gospel. I learned about God. I learned about the Mormon church. I learned about Jesus Christ. I attended church every Sunday. I met some of the most faithful followers of Christ I've ever met in my life at the Mormon church. And I just stayed there and I learned a lot between, like, let's say April and August. That's when I lived in Utah. And in the meantime, while I was out there, I went to visit Michigan. I went back to Vegas. I went to Florida. I did quite a bit of traveling. I went to San Francisco, Arizona to visit family. And while I was in Florida, that's when I cashed my assets out. So I had a lot of money. And I still Thank God I still do, but that's irrelevant. Um, but anyway, I did quite a bit of traveling, and it was a blessing at the end of the day, you know. So it was a blessing. At the same time, I spent time going to church, learning about God, learning about Jesus Christ, and just educating myself about the faith, the church's faith, the Mormon faith, all that stuff, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine of Covenants, you know. And I believe with all my heart these are true followers of Christ, and you know, God bless them. You know, it's the end of the day, you know, we're all saved by only one thing. That's the grace and mercy of Jesus Christ on the cross when he died for our sins. And that's the end of the day. That's the end of it. Like at the end of the day, that is what saves us at the end of the day. It is our faith in what Jesus Christ did on the cross for our sins. And, you know, it's just like at the end of the day, Mormons or Catholics or Baptists or even non-denominational, this is my view, they're all just different denominations at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, the only thing that saves us is our faith in Jesus Christ on the cross. That's the only thing that saves us. Um, Everything else is just like, you know, religion and doctrine and whatever they want to believe. So I was there till August, and then briefly went to New Jersey with my parents before I headed back to Florida. Went back to Florida, spent time in Puerto Rico, and ultimately, you know, voted in the election, and election didn't turn out the way I wanted, but who cares? That's not going to talk about that. Anyway, so basically, here we are in November, and it's been kind of the story of my year. I did take a trip out to Seattle, Washington, which was pretty cool. I wanted to experience that cool, cloudy weather, and it felt so good because I actually needed, after spending so much time in the sun and in the heat in Florida and in Puerto Rico and all that stuff, I wanted to get back to just like cool, cloudy weather at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, it was pretty. I don't even know. It was a nice time. So I wanted to see something new. I wanted to like eat it like a vegan restaurant, eat it like, you know, Seattle has so many vegan places at the end of the day. And I don't know. I don't know. So at the end of the day, it's just like right now I'm just figuring things out right now and trying to figure things out like kind of new things right now. So folks, yeah, basically I don't even know. I need to just understand things right now, you know. It's just at the end of the day. Um I don't know. I don't even know anymore. I just feel like at the end of the day, it's just where am I in life right now? Where am I in life right now at the end of the day? It's like at the end of the day, right now, where am I in life is just like I'm figuring things out. I'm kind of like looking ahead into like an abyss of like, where do I go from here? What do I do from here? Did I succeed in life? Yeah, I did pretty well for myself, you know, at the end of the day, but it's just like, did I succeed in life? What is my plan for my future? You know, at the end of the day, I had a dream last night um, that I got into. I had a dream last night that I got into Harvard. That was a weird. I had a dream last night that I got into Harvard, and it was a weird dream because, like, I remember it's just like in the dream, I was getting like I was getting like letters from all these different colleges and all that stuff, and one of them came in. They're like, "Oh, Harvard accepted you." And I'm like, Harvard accepted Javier David Lopez Leyva. And I'm like, whoa, okay, that came out of nowhere. But then I'm just like, at the end of the day, it's just like I see myself in these dreams and I see like a very powerful version of myself. A version of myself which just like which is just like kind of powerful and amazing. And it's just like a version of myself that like I see myself and I aspire to be. But it's just like then I wake up, I'm just like, oh man, I'm just my same old boring self at the end of the day. And it's just like I think of like, what can I accomplish in life? What can I accomplish in life? What have I accomplished in life? And what can I accomplish going forward in life, considering that I'm still in my late 20s, and I'm still just trying to figure life out. You know, it's just like I'm looking ahead and I don't really see much that's ahead other than maybe income and all that. But it's just like, what am I here for? What did God put me on this earth for at the end of the day? And it's just like, what does God want me to do here? What am I here to do at the end of the day? Am I meant to have a relationship? Am I meant to have friends? Am I meant to, accomplish great things at the end of the day? What am I meant to accomplish? And that is a mystery here that I'm looking at my life right now. I'm just like, I have no idea what I'm doing with my life. I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea what my future holds. And I'm just really, really trying to figure things out. And, just at the end of the day, God made us all. God has a plan for all of us. God has a plan for me. And I just have no freaking idea what it is. I just know that I'm heading in a direction. And at the end of the day, we're all heading in a direction. And we will see ultimately what happens. Anyway, that's kind of like the summary of this year so far. I usually do every year, at the end of every year, I do a year-long reflection. I made one in Houston, Texas on January 1st of this year when I was coming back from Mexico. I never posted it to YouTube, but that was my yearly reflection of 2023. And I'm not going to lie, guys, 2023 was a hard year for me. And I'm really just free talking here, guys. I'm really free talking here. But 2023, I posted my yearly reflection in Houston, Texas at a hotel. And at the end of the day, I just have to figure it. I might even post it on YouTube, honestly, because I've still yet to post it. But this year just whizzed by, guys. This year whizzed by. At the end of the day, it's just like, who am I? What do I like? What do I like to do? And it's just, at the end of it all, it's just, I've kind of explained things like, what do I like to do? Who am I? All that stuff. I've been a vegetarian for 15 years. I like to go to restaurants. I've been a vegetarian for 15 years, and I like to go to restaurants, and I see that nobody is watching right now. Let's see. Yeah, so it's like, at the end of the day, it's just like, I've been a vegetarian for 15 years. I like to go to different restaurants. I like to go to different restaurants of different countries, having different desserts, different vegetarian dishes and all that stuff. And I just have to look at myself and who am I? Who am I? And you're asking the same question, who are you? It's just like, I'm just really speaking out randomly here. It's just like, if I were to ask, who is Javier Lopez Leiva? Well, I'm a child of God, obviously, through Jesus Christ. First, I'm a vegetarian, been vegetarian for 15 years. I am a traveler. I've taken so many trips in my life. At the end of the day, let's see, what else? I am a person that loves to meet people, loves to explore, loves to see new places. And at the end of the day, it's just, I don't know. There's just, well, what about me is just interesting to people at the end of the day? And it's just, I have to figure that out. It's a question I really, really have to ask myself at the end of the day. It's like, what about me is interesting to people? Anyway, I've been live streaming for 24 minutes. I've been seeing some people pop on and off. And honestly, I'm just trying to find ways to be more interesting. Like, what do I say to people? How do I talk to people at the end of the day? And I don't know. I don't know. Thank you for watching, folks. Xavier Block 208. I'll always have more for you. Take care.